How's it going, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name's Jay. I'm an eBay reseller. I like to buy things from places like charity shops, car boot sales and garage sales, and I like to try and flip them for a profit over on eBay and other marketplaces. If that's something that interests you, then please consider subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, let's get on with today's video, which the topic is 9 essential things that you will need to get started as an eBay reseller. Let's get on with it. So the first thing you're going to need, like all this behind me, is stock. You're going to actually need to have some stuff to sell. I know it's obvious, but some people think that you need to spend money on stock to get started. And I'm here to tell you that you don't actually do that. In fact, I started with just things that I had lying about around the house, toys, games, clothing, things like that that weren't getting used anymore. I used them to generate the first bit of capital for my business, and all the money that I made from selling those personal items from around the house, I then put back into the business straight away and use that money to then go out and source new stock from places like I say, from car boots and other places like charity shops and things like that. That's how I got the ball rolling, and it becomes like a snowball effect, if you know what I mean. On top of that, I did keep some of the money back to buy the other essentials that I'm going to go through next. Next thing you're going to need is an eBay account. Now make sure that eBay account is in good standing. If you do already have an eBay account and it's even got like one negative feedback or something like that, I would honestly think about starting a brand new eBay account. Now I know that when you do start eBay for the first time, you are required to get, I think it's 5 feedback before they'll stop holding your funds and things like that. But the best way I've found to get an eBay account started is that to actually buy a few things. If you buy a few things on eBay and get the seller to leave you feedback, then that can help bump the account up straight away and make it look like you're not a brand new eBay account, if you know what I mean. People are generally a bit wary about buying from eBay, especially when you've got 0 feedback. And I know that sometimes that can cause people to start slowly. But, you know, if you can just buy maybe a couple of things, maybe some supplies, maybe some packaging materials or tape or anything like that, and get the seller to leave you feedback, that really does help an account look like it's not dodgy. The next thing you're going to require, well, not necessarily require, but it's definitely it is better than handwriting the labels, is a printer. I started off with just a very basic Epson printer that I already had in the house. I used that till very recently, just printing off the labels and sticking them to the actual item that I was sending off. And it worked, but it wasn't ideal. And then eventually, simply because I ran out of the document wallets, I decided to upgrade to one of these Munbin thermal printers, which are absolutely fantastic, by the way, and I wish I'd upgraded sooner. The labels don't cost a lot of money, and the printer themselves run on thermal, so they don't actually use ink, which is fantastic. So that'll save me money in the long run, and obviously being able to just peel a label off and stick it straight on to the actual package is a lifesaver. So yeah, you can use handwriting, but eventually you are going to want to consider getting a printer, especially when you start selling through a lot more stuff on a daily basis. It just makes life a hell of a lot easier. You're also going to want to need something to send your packages out in. So I always ask family and friends to keep hold of their cardboard boxes for me. And we actually do buy quite a lot of things online. So we do go through, well, we do get a lot of packaging that I like to keep hold of. Everyone knows now to not throw the packaging away, but to keep it for me. And then I will flat pack them and I'll stick them under here. I've also got boxes full of peanuts, you know, those packaging peanuts. And I've also managed to get my hands on a load of bubble wrap there, which is also being donated to me from a family friend. I also managed to get my hands on some UPS packaging right up there. If you have got a business, you can sign up to the UPS business account. It is absolutely free, and they will send you out supplies for free, which also is fantastic and saves you money. So yeah, you are going to need packaging, you are going to need boxes, and that's probably a good thing to get sourced early on, because there's nothing worse than selling something quite unusual and not having a box to package it up in, and then having to go out and spend money on a box, because let's be honest, no one wants to be doing that. While we're on packaging and boxes and whatnot, the next thing you're going to need is tape. Now, you might want to get your hands on one of these tape dispensers. They make life a lot easier. They're quite easy to use, and they're pretty cheap as well. So that is one thing you might want to get your hands on. Also, I have been buying in these packages of tape. Let me just get one to show you. These packages of tape, at the moment they're selling them in Wilkinson's, and I think they're charging for 6 pieces of tape. I think they're charging about £2, £3, maybe £2.50, something like that. Get yourselves in, buy a load. I know Wilkinson's are actually going into administration now, so they might be even coming off a lot cheaper as well. Definitely worth having. It is decent tape as well. It's not the crappy stuff that you sometimes get. Also, while you're out and about, you might also want to grab yourself one of these fragile tape. You can buy them from most hardware stores. You're then going to need something to take the pictures with, which obviously we use a camera. Now, in this day and age, we're quite lucky, because if we have a mobile phone, because they come with a camera built in, and that's probably more than sufficient for what you need to take pictures for your listings. Speaking about pictures, make sure that they're well lit, well shot, and that you take multiple pictures on multiple angles as well, because there's nothing worse than having to come down and look through stuff just because someone's asked a particular question about a certain aspect that you could have answered by simply taking a picture of the underneath of it or something like that. So make sure to take as many pictures as you possibly can, and make sure that they're nice and clear. And then another thing that you need to really think about before you get started is space and storage, really. If you can get something that gives you a bit of space where you can store the items away, like I've got with the racking and whatnot, that obviously is a lifesaver. It keeps all of it out of the house, because obviously when you have it all inside the house, you feel like you are constantly working, and that's not a good thing. It's not good for your mental health, really. So having somewhere to be able to store it away, either in sort of this sort of setup or these boxes here. These boxes are actually really good. I'm actually getting rid of these, but these boxes are what I used to use to store my stuff in, and things like that. So you can actually get it away and get it labelled as well, because when you're listing on eBay, at first you might know where everything is, but as stock starts to pile up, when something sells that you listed 6 months ago, a year ago or whatever, you might not remember where it was. So if you can get areas labelled up and have that as a note on the particular item as you list them, it makes life a lot easier. If it's in bin 1A, you know you can go straight to 1A, pull it out, and there's the item right there. The next thing I'm going to talk about is attitude. Attitude to selling, really, and attitude to creating an online business. If you treat your business poorly, then obviously it's not going to repay you. You get out what you put in, and obviously that applies to pretty much anything in life. But when it comes to online business, you need to be motivated. You need to be able to motivate yourself. It's quite easy sometimes to just not bother doing the listings, not bother doing the packaging or whatnot, and everything sort of plays into it. So if selling on eBay can sound like it's easy, but it's not. And one of the big things that you need to consider is your customer service. The customer is always right, even when they're wrong. Trust me. The best thing you can do is get your orders out as soon as possible, answer your messages as quick as possible, and try and keep your customer happy, even if that means having to refund them, even though you feel like you shouldn't. Sometimes you've just got to take the hit. Obviously, when it comes to expensive items, I understand people might want to fight the corner for that, but when it comes to things that are a couple of pound items, sometimes it's best to just choose your battle. And yeah, I would always just give them the money back. you need to have the right attitude to be selling, and you need to make sure that you are very prompt in getting the items out. One negative feedback can really affect your eBay account, and that's the last thing you need, especially when getting started. It is going to happen eventually. It is inevitable. Sometimes people just can't be reasoned with. But if you've got the right attitude and you keep pushing on and you keep listing and you keep sending your items out fast, I'm sure that your eBay account will grow rapidly. And my final tip is time. You need to be able to put aside some time every single day to run your business. Even if it's a couple of hours on an evening or a couple of hours on a morning before people wake up, or on your lunch break, or whatever it is, try to get a couple of hours in every single day on your business. Obviously, if you are blessed and you can put in full day shifts on your business, then that's even better. But most of us are part-time, and that means we have to do it whilst we are holding down jobs and families and things like this. So obviously you need to prioritize, but you need to make sure that you have the time before you start this venture, because sometimes things go wrong and you end up spending more time than you even expected to spend on things. Sometimes you can get things wrapped up quite quickly, but you need to be allotting some time during the day to get on with your eBay business. And that, folks, is that. Obviously, some of you people, I'll be teaching you to suck eggs. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comment section below if I've missed anything. I really appreciate you guys for watching the video. I hope it's helped. If it has, by all means, let me know. Please hit that thumbs up button if you are a subscriber. If you are new, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it, guys. Until the next one, I will see you all later. Bye-bye.